All right, guys, how's it going? So in today's video, we're going to be installing our RZR tender springs on our 2019 Turbo S. We're also going to be installing our RZR Defenders. Both these products are compliments of Dustin Robbins and allthingsutv.com. So big shout out to you guys over there. Appreciate you. Without you guys, I couldn't have made this video happen. So stay tuned. I'm going to show you guys how to put all this stuff on. All right, everybody, how's it going? So today we're going to be working on getting these tender springs put on the RZR. I got my little boy David here. He's going to help me out, do a little bit of filming. So as it sits right now, we've got the RZR all the way up in the air. And basically this side right here, I haven't done anything on just yet. But first thing you're going to need to do is you're going to have to unscrew this preload collar, back it up all the way up to the top as far as you can. That's going to give you enough wiggle room to be able to pull this piece up and pull it out after you unbolt this shock. All right, guys, so we're here over on the passenger side. We've got everything loosened up. You can see I've got my preload collar is all the way backed up to the top. Our spring is now loose in here. We've got this bottom shock bolt loosened up. Make sure not to lose your washers. So we'll pull up on this A-arm. And when you pull up on this A-arm, it'll relieve a little bit of that tension. That bolt will come out. Let this rest down. Nice and gently. If you pull it, you let it hammer down too hard, you might pull the axle out of the boot or something. So just be careful. So now, what you're going to do is you're going to lift this up and pull the collar off. Once your collar's off, the whole thing will come down. Okay, so there's your whole setup. We're going to take this top spring and we're going to replace it with the other one. All right, so my boy David here is going to show us what the difference is between these two springs. So there's a stock one there. There's that one. So let's put these suckers on the ground here. Can you tell me what you see different about them?
First off, I see the height.
Yeah.
Height difference of them.
We got a tape measure. Grab that tape measure behind you there, boy. All
right. About 4 inches.
Okay. So our stock spring's about 4 inches. What's the height of our aftermarket spring?
5 inches.
All right, sweet. What else do you see a little bit different about them? What about this? What do you think? Look at that.
The thickness of the wire.
Yeah, it's a lot thicker, isn't it?
Looks a lot stronger than this one.
So this spring is actually going to be a heck of a lot stronger. This is going to support the added weight of our cage and any other items that we may be carrying, and it's going to get us a lot more close to that stock ride height that we're looking for. All right, guys, so we've got this side done. We haven't set the preload yet, so we're going to do that once we put the tires back on and roll it around and do all that. We're going to do all of that at the end. Right now we've got all of our springs clocked the way that they're supposed to. Now what I'm going to do is I have some spring compressors, but for the folks that don't have spring compressors, I'm going to show you some tricks at home that you can use in order to put this spring on a little bit easier, just so you don't have to go out and spend a bunch of money. We'll go over here to the other side and I'll show you how. All right, guys, so we're going to come over here on the other side. I'm going to try and make sure that I get these somewhat oriented the correct way before I even slot them up on there. So that's going to be to the back. That one will be right there. All right, sweet. So what we're going to do is we're going to slide this spring up on the shock. Okay, there's that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this strap here. I'm going to hook it, tighten her down just a little bit. Okay. Got a nice spring there. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take this other little strap, and this is basically just a little cinch strap. Then what you're going to do on your strap,
through your spring. There we go. Get it to pull up on that spring enough to where you can get that collar back in there. Just like so. Make sure your collar is oriented to the back. And then basically just loosen up your straps. And voila. Torque her down, set your preload, away you go, man.
All right, guys, so we've gotten the rear end lifted up. What we did is I came in over here and I gave a little squirt of PB Blaster just so I can loosen up that preload collar. We haven't done anything to this side except for take off the wheel. If you move over here to this side, we've actually taken the 19 millimeter, I believe it's a 19 or an 18, taking our 18 millimeter out, and we've basically lifted up this bump stop. We've ran our preload collar up a few inches to give ourselves a little bit of room. Pull out this piece here. Basically just sits down in the bottom and holds your spring in place. Once you pull that out, you're able to come in here, pull this tender spring out. Here, Maddie, why don't you come over here and show us. So now these rear tender springs are a little bit different than the stock ones. All right, so here's one thing I noticed is that this aftermarket spring is significantly shorter, but it's a hell of a lot thicker. And so yeah, this one I've got it set to start at 6 3/4 inches preload, and that is from the rib right here up at the top. And yeah, we're gonna start there. I'm gonna set both sides the exact same. Then what we're gonna do is we're gonna put the tires back on. We still gotta do this side. We're gonna put the tires back on, we'll lower it down, and then we'll start getting our ride height set. And we're 16 inches for the rear. So my daughter Maddie here is tightening the preload.
This takes forever.
Preload collar all the way down to the spring. We're gonna set this to 6 3/4 inches. And once we get that set, then we're gonna lower it down onto the ground and see what our ride height is, and then adjust from there.
But we're putting the tires on first, right?
You really think we're just gonna set this thing on the ground without tires on it, Maddie?
I don't know.
Oh my goodness.
I've never done this before.
Kids.
All right, so while we got little mama here jacking this dang thing up, you put the e-brake on? You sure?
You can go check.
All right, so the e-brake's set, and if you guys look at the springs right now, you can see these wear marks right on the inside here. Now this is where the spring has actually been completely collapsed, and where the springs are actually rubbing on each other. So that's definitely no bueno. Are you having some trouble? Why don't you pull from the top of the thing?
That's what I'm doing.
Now look, hold on, quick. Look, stop. Bring it down. Now just keep pushing. Just go push from here.
Okay.
Why you keep lifting it all the way up?
Because
Push.
I want to.
Push.
That's what I'm doing.
Well, get above the pole. Quit trying to pull the pole down. There you go. There you go.
It's off the ground, Dad.
Nope, not off the ground yet.
Yes, it
A
is.
little bit more. All right, that's good. All right, so basically all you're gonna do is take this and just rotate it. And now I'm gonna go 4 turns. Just 2. There's 3. And there's 4. Let's go 5 just for good measure. All right, so there's 5. Now I'm gonna come over here to the other side. I'm gonna do 5 on this side.
And now the way I keep track of my spins is I use this little opening down here at the bottom. Just watch it go around. You always want to make sure it's facing backwards when you're done. So there's 2. There's 3. There's 4. And there's 5. So now we'll check our ride height again and we'll see where we're sitting.
Yo, morning guys, how's it going? So now that we've got our tender springs on, we got the back adjusted. It's sitting at 16 inches. Yeah, 16 inches in the rear, sitting at right about 16 and a half, maybe 16 3/4 in the front. So we're perfect. Sitting nice and pretty on our ride height. Now all we got to do is install these awesome inner fenders. So these are going to go up inside of our fender wells. These are going to protect us from any objects or debris that could possibly impale the plastic, which I've seen some pretty gnarly images of, you know, objects that have like shot up through the fender well here, you know, and done some pretty catastrophic damage to where, you know, one I saw it actually came up all the way through the floorboard and came like through the top part of these seats, and it was like, it was nuts. Whatever. Anyways, got a whole bunch of look at that, nylocks, nice little stainless bolts, washers. We're good to go. So what we'll do is we'll most likely need a drill. We're gonna need to see how these things fit on there and then come up with a way to basically hold it up, because I'm only one man. Alright guys, well, since I'm short and you know, these instructions that we're given were pretty straightforward, you know. Basically you take the fender well, or you take the fender, the defender, you put it in here, you mark the 2 top holes, and you're gonna drill your holes. Now me, I use what's called a body reamer. You can find these at like RC car hobby shops and stuff like that. I like using these because they get into small areas, and if you look right up here, you know, there's not a whole lot of area to get your drill into, but you can get a simple hand tool in there. And being that this is plastic, it's pretty easy to go through with this. So I'm gonna use this. I'm gonna cut my 2 holes for my bolts, and then what we're gonna go do is we're gonna mount this thing back up in there, and we're gonna put the bolts in loosely, so that way the plate kind of hangs down a little bit. Then we're gonna really push it on there, and we're gonna mark our bottom holes. Then we're gonna tighten the bottom ones down and then tighten the top ones up, and it's gonna like suction the entire piece right to the fender. Stay tuned, I'll show you. Now this is something that it would probably help to have some extra hands. Oh, I hit my camera. It would probably help to have some extra hands, but you know, what are you gonna do? Okay, so we got that one in there. Now I gotta reach around. This is something you can do by yourself. All right, so we got that one done. Remember I said, just do them hand tight. Okay, we're gonna take this other one and put it in here hand tight as well. Okay, we know where our holes are. Okay, bam. Got that one done. All right, so now we got that. So now this will hang down low, and what I can do is I can take this bottom piece and I can cram it up in here. So if you look right here, you see this line in this plastic? This piece crams right up into there. Now if you look,
the way that it's molded, you can only go in so far. Now we're going to take our body reamer and go in here. We're going to find our mark. It's that spot right there. One thing I can do is I can go find this hole on the top side, cut it from the top. Be a little bit easier. This is the passenger side. I've already gone ahead and installed the top one. Once you puncture this hole, it's going to be inside the glove box. So don't think you have to take out the dash or the glove box. Just go all the way through the glove box, run the bolt through. Now what we're going to do is, there's only one top bolt on this plate. So you leave the top bolt loose, you're going to come through on the bottom, and you're going to push this damn thing right up into place. You're going to mark your bottom holes. Then what we're going to do is we're going to tighten our bottom bolts. Then we're going to come back and we're going to tighten our top bolt. That's going to suction everything right up to the fender. Easier said than done, right? So I really wish they would have put like a little flap right here. I think kind of like on the other side, there's a tiny little flap here. It would just hide that little gap. I'm gonna get a drill. I'm gonna drill me a small hole right here, and then I'm gonna drill me another hole offset a little bit from there. We'll see how it goes. So here's how the other one looks. I ended up putting this bolt in right here because it just works a lot better that way. I had a pretty significant gap right here and I wasn't a big fan of it. This made it a lot smaller, a lot more manageable. I'll be curious to see what happens if like stuff comes in contact with these things. Alright guys, here's the finished product. Tender springs, you can see how they're not collapsed. So being as this is the dynamic setup, I set my ride height at 16.5, which is what it calls for. You can see that these tires look like they're sitting straight up and down, just like they're supposed to now. Back to that stock ride height. Coming here to the back. One thing I noticed about the tender springs in the rear is that they're actually shorter than the stock ones. So the rear tenders are shorter, however, they're a lot thicker of a coil.
Alright guys, and just like that, we're all finished up installing our RZR Defenders and our RZR tender springs, all compliments of allthingsutv.com. Make sure you guys go check out his page and check out his website and see everything that he has to offer. If you guys are in the side-by-side community and maybe you're a manufacturer or a fabricator and you guys would like any of your products reviewed or tested by me, just reach out to me personally. You can reach me on my personal Facebook page at David Hine, or you can message me here on the A1 UTV Facebook page. I hope you guys certainly enjoyed this video, and we'll see you guys out on the next one. Later.